And now it's time for our interview segment, which I like to call Better Things to Do, where I ask people who have better things to do to stop what they're doing and talk to me. Ryan Magnon, am I pronouncing that correctly?
I love it when it's pronounced that way, but yeah.
Okay.
Magnon.
Is that
so European?
Yes, it's French. It's is the president of Panda Mony Toys, and they have got a Kickstarter going for their Wave 2 figures, and we're going to get all into that in just a moment. It's been a very, very long time since I've seen him, and hopefully it won't be too much longer before I have to see him in person. Ryan, welcome back to Geeking Out About.
Thanks for having me again.
So since we last talked, quite a few changes in your in both the company and in your personal situation. This is not the same office that was on this video screen last time we talked. The last one was very stark and white, and this one is not.
Yeah, it's warm and very natural.
So
very textured.
So obviously this is a change of venue for you. You've now moved to Tennessee from California, right?
Correct. Yeah, we were in Redondo Beach. Now we're in Franklin, Tennessee. A lot of fun out here. Lots of greenery and interesting weather. Every day it's kind of something different. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
What's the pandemic situation like there?
It's pretty wide open. My daughter had her first day of school today and no mask.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
First day of second grade, I should say. She was at school last year, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty wide open here. I mean, doctors' offices have restrictions. That's about it.
So, way more changes on the company front than anything else. Do you want to talk about the?
Yeah, well, when we moved, we downsized quite a bit. So it's just me and two other folks working now. Still keep in touch with Curtis, still on great terms, but he moved on to other things too.
So now he's not doing the creative anymore then.
I mean, we like I said, we're still on good terms, so it's very casual and like we'll bounce ideas off of each other.
Right.
He's still involved in the because he's Hollywood guy. He's still kind of involved in that aspect of it. If we go to series, he'll definitely step right back in.
Right.
So yeah. But yeah, and again, I kind of run ideas off of him too. Still, since we really developed. He and I'd probably say had the most input over the alternation story.
Right.
There was a lot of input from everybody, but I think he and I did the most story-wise.
So for those who don't know, and who haven't yet heard of you, could you briefly explain the alternation concept?
Love to. Actually, I'll go back and even go back further than that. Talk about Pandamony, which is the company that we started specifically to build kids brands using toys and only do new brands. So no licenses. That saves us money on the licenses. And just because kids were getting a lot of reboots, especially in the action figure aisle, which is the first category we went into with alternation. Now, alternation, they're 1/12 scale action figures. With all the modern articulation kids have come to expect, very similar to brands like WWE or Marvel Legends, but we also add a play feature to each one. The story behind alternation is animal-human hybrids that were created by the military to be the perfect soldier, only they don't know that they're experiments. They think that they were just born this way. So the toys themselves then come with an animal-inspired play feature. So the chameleon, he'll change color, his skin changes color. The porcupine shoots his quills. The frog does a backflip. And again, all with that modern articulation we've come to expect.
Yeah, I mean, they're very they're very, very impressive figures from, you know, for not coming from like one of the quote unquote major manufacturers, the quality on them is really incredible. They are fantastic figures, and you know, if you're already intrigued, they are available at Amazon, and they are available at Panda Mony's own store, which is at Panda Mony Toys, right?
Yeah, store.pandamonytoys will take you straight to the store. They're on Target.com, Walmart.com, lots of niche comic book stores and independent toy stores are carrying it.
Yeah, they for like, again, for a smaller toy line, they actually have pretty robust distribution. So there's very few places that you can't go on the web to find them. You know, I would definitely, like, you know, if you guys are already intrigued, and like I said, we're going to go through, we'll go through the line and we'll talk about all the characters. And then if you like what you see from series 1, series 2 is really going to blow you away, and you've got to go to their Kickstarter and back series 2, because I've only ever seen these figures in the sell sheet boards that they took to conventions with them, and to see them realized in person on the you know, in 3D done form on the Kickstarter was really, really impressive. So I really, really hope that that people are able to back this and get these made. And so let's talk about that for a minute. So like, one of the things that you guys thrived on was getting the word out through in-person shows, because Ryan is one of the most interesting and unique personalities I've ever met in my 20 years in the toy industry. And you know, his passion for his brand really shows when you meet him in person. And so like, one of the things that really killed you guys was the inability to do that. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand how crucial it is for these smaller companies to buy these booths at, like, you know, New York Comic-Con, or at, you know, the Toy Insider events, or like the smaller shows like that, or like even the bigger shows, but like the smaller, you know, the small little booths at that show, or even, you know, obviously the major show like Toy Fair, like how much it kills you when you don't have that interaction with people, because, you know, you guys are really relying on word of mouth. Like, you guys are really relying on someone like, you know, like me or some other media person to see your stuff, or like, you know, Tony from Toy Hype USA, to see your stuff and go back and go, hey, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. You really should go check it out. This is where you should go. And like, to not have that really killed you guys, because how else do you, you know, how else do you make yourself heard above the roar of, you know, Marvel and McFarlane's multiverse, and, you know, G.I. Joe and He-Man coming back, and, you know, Transformers, and like all these major brands, like, especially, you know, now Transformers has gone down the Beast Machines route again.
Oh, really?
So like,
yeah, I guess I did see that. Yeah.
You know, it's like, how, you know, it's gotta, like, you've got to feel like the little guy shouting on, you know, on the bottom of the sidewalk, going, look at me, look at me, look at me.
It did. Like, I mean, just
hey,
so
down
we're
here.
okay. Yeah, we're okay kind of talking a little PG-13 R-rated kind of a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. It felt like getting kicked in the nuts, like, over and over for a year. Like, it was like, okay, this is just 2 weeks. That sucks, but we're gonna miss this one convention and then everything's back to normal. And it's just like, no, it's like nonstop. Like,
No, we're not gonna have Toy Fair this year. No, we're gonna move Toy Fair to May. No, we're not gonna have it at all.
Right. And we're still signed up for it, you know, like, I'm assuming it's going on still.
San Diego Comic-Con this year? Nope.
No, it was just like relentless, and it was just kind of like, okay, we'll make this new plan that for, okay, summertime things will be back to normal, and people will be out again, and like that'll be anyway. We had not only the conventions planned, we had a what we called a van tour or like a live event tour, where we were just gonna like outfit a van with like some fun games and alternation decorations on the side, and just like go around the country, start small, local, and expand if it worked out well, and go to like little league games and parks and things on weekends, and just kind of set up and tell people about the brand. That didn't go well. I mean, that didn't happen at all. It didn't go well. And then so yeah, we ended up just kind of everything had to be either online or television marketing. We did that in Q4. We found the results of that really for us, like we didn't stand out marketing dollars wise from all those other companies you mentioned.
Right.
Even if we buy an ad on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, it's like, well, like our budget's not going to go anywhere near what the other guys are doing. So that didn't work out. What I found really works is just an Amazon advertising right now. So that's kind of what I've been focused on for
I always thought it was terrible for you guys, because you guys had an amazing like front of the store boutique at the FAO Schwartz store in New York City.
We tried that too. That did not go well.
At a time when nobody could go into New York City.
I know. I know so many people
that probably would have visited that had they been able to travel into the city.
Yeah. Well, they in New York's, I think I heard that are they doing something again with lockdown or something? I don't know. I heard like murmurs.
As of right now, Comic-Con is still on, as far as I know. They are going to require that you wear masks at Comic-Con, I believe, and they are also requiring, New York City is requiring that you be vaccinated in order to get into Comic-Con. You will have to show proof of vaccination in order to get it. So I guess the question I have for you is, are you going to New York Comic-Con?
No. We are planning New York Toy Fair, but we've canceled all of our Comic-Con, everything else except New York Toy Fair. We actually were scheduled to do Awesome Con and Rose City Comic Con because they have a junior section we were really looking forward to, but I just couldn't swing it with the moving the company and losing the personnel. So another they weren't kind enough to let us go next year. So I'm really the thing that really disappoints me on that is I really did want to do something, at a convention that was for kids, So really do something fun for the kids.
Yeah. So now when you do Toy Fair in 2022, are you going to have your own booth, or are you going to be as part of Diamond again, or? No,
this is, we actually, we're going to have our own booth.
Oh, really? That's fantastic.
Yeah. We're going to be right next to, we're still in the incubator section. What's it called? The launch pad.
Yeah.
But we're right on the cusp of where the action figure section is. So, yeah. Okay.
That's where I Am Elemental is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to get out of the incubator area for, I guess, 2 years now.
Yeah.
We tried with 2 years ago, and it was just, New York Toy Fair was full, so we couldn't get a booth.
Yeah.
And then
last year we didn't have one.
Last year, of course. Yeah. Well, luckily, Diamond was kind enough to let us, set up shop there. But now it's time for us to venture out on our own, I think.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys were going to be in with Diamond again at Comic-Con this year, or if you guys were just going to skip it.
I think, like I said, I think it's time for us to go out on our own because it's just a little more exposure. Diamond can only focus on us so much. They have, hundreds of brands and products and whatever.
So then the question becomes, distribution-wise, are you staying where you are? Do you have more outlets that are looking to pick up, or?
That's kind of what this Kickstarter is really, it's kind of a crucial moment for us. we're staying where we are right now. HEO out of Europe was interested in picking it up. And they're still kind of in play, but right now I'm just kind of focused on the online orders are really, they're doing it for me. So I think the Kickstarter being successful would kind of get industry attention more.
Yeah.
And even like what we've been doing, just the thing's only like 4% funded right now. And I'm already getting small shops and stuff reaching out to me and saying, hey, I'd like to carry your figures. So
Well, that's
kind of
good.
cool. Yeah.
So the funny thing,
AlternationKickstarter.com, by the way. We've been talking about the Kickstarter a lot. But
we're gonna show.
people are gonna be like, where is it?
I'm gonna show it in a second.
I know that. We're teasing them too.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny is when we last talked, we talked about Kickstarter, and you guys weren't ready to go down that road yet.
It's.
And then all of a sudden, I got an email that said, "Hey, we're on Kickstarter." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I guess it was kind of sudden.
It was because we only talked like 4 months ago or so.
Yeah,
I think the last time we talked.
Mm.
And like you guys were like, we're not ready to go there yet. We're thinking about it, but we're not ready to pull the trigger on.
Oh, hey, in business, you got to be ready to make snap decisions. No, I think it was just we kept getting emails of like, where is phase 2? You guys have been promising phase 2 forever. And I got the thought came to me is just like, well, if people are asking like, hey, if you want it, we can do it this way. We can get it produced with very little risk using Kickstarter. So yeah, so that's what we did.
All right, let's show it so that Ryan doesn't get mad at me for not showing it anymore.
Oh. No. I was saying if people are listening, they're going to say, "Hey,
there it is."
We're talking about it, but what's the address? It's
there you go. Alternation Action Figures Phase 2. So again, like I've said to everybody, I've only ever seen these on sell sheets that they had at their booth, and they have come out even more spectacular as. So these are still prototypes, right? That you're showing.
These are the final prototypes. Yeah, and everything you saw before was probably a render or like an unused model because we had to make changes for, just production.
Right. Now I know Bomber in all the pictures I've seen has a ball in that tail of his. Is that still the case?
That is still the case. It's just doesn't happen to be in that photo. But yeah, he's gonna shoot out if you've ever seen those kind of gummy gel-filled balls that you throw them and they splat and then they bounce, they reform back to their original shape. That's what we're going for. Yeah. So
Kickstarter lasts until September 1st. Right. You guys have 25 days left to back it. It's got some backing. Obviously, it needs a lot more. Mm-hmm. So anybody who is watching and or listening to this, please go to Kickstarter.com, search for Panda Mony Toys, and you will find their Kickstarter for Alternation Wave 2. So let's go through this really quickly.
Well, real quick, if you go to AlternationKickstarter.com, it'll take you right to the page. We made it easy.
Oh, we can do that too. Yeah. AlternationKickstarter.com, all one word.
Correct.
So we'll go through really quickly. So these two are these are both villain characters, correct?
Correct. They're both the evil hybrids. We've had all of our good human-animal hybrids before, and now we've got the bad ones.
Yep. So we'll start with Alpha. Alpha is probably the figure I have been looking forward to most from these guys because he's a giant freaking bat.
Yeah, I got him somewhere.
I was going to ask if you had him.
Yeah, give me a second. Right here. Let me go pull it up. You can keep talking. I didn't mean to.
So yeah, the Alpha. The first time I saw Alpha, I was just absolutely awestruck with how beautiful it looked. That is Alpha in person. I didn't know the jaw did that.
Yeah,
That is
little
Alpha
button on
in
the back.
person. He's pretty amazing. Yeah, he is. He is
Yeah,
pretty
his
amazing.
wings are articulated. I just have them off right now because that's a prototype and I don't want to break anything.
Of course.
These prototypes, for people that haven't done toy production, these things are super brittle. They're plastic, but they're brittle as all heck. And I've probably broken every single prototype I've ever purchased. This actually, Alpha is the first one I haven't yet, but the day's still young.
I was gonna say, but if I make you keep playing with him, maybe.
Yeah. Well, he comes with this is a maybe, I don't know if we should switch back to me if we're going to be showing this, but
yeah, I'll switch. Hold on. Let me
yeah.
let me unshare the screen.
Yeah, you can come back to that.
Yeah, we'll go back to the Kickstarter in a minute.
We've got, here's his jaw opening up, glow in the dark eyes, which I don't think that this is actual glow in the dark paint, but he does have color change paint actually on his wings. You can see on the back of his wings, we did a coral snake because, you know, he's a poison snake. And that's color change as well. The red parts go to a blue. And let's see, got, of course, 8 on, well, it's got 4 arms, but he's supposed to have 8 limbs because he's an octopus. So counting his wings, that's the 8.
I figured that out after a second. For a while there, I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What?
And you kind of see this is when you
And
look
now,
at
well,
bat
so
wings,
once
they
you see
do
the
look like
hands,
another
yeah.
hand.
Yeah, once you see the hands at the end of
Uh,
the bat wings, it all makes sense.
Yeah. So that's what he kind of, and the wings are articulated too, if you can see. It's going to have a double hinge joint there.
Wow.
So yeah, so they turn this way and this and flat. And
That's
let's
really
see
cool.
what else might be interesting. We've got some accessories here. This Alpha story is that he's on the run from, you know, the authorities. So he makes his own weapons. He's a genius. He can do that. This is a rifle bayonet made out of a little crutch and kitchen.
I was gonna say I love that. I love that bit of his story. Like,
Yeah,
he like
and then
just
he's got
takes
a
his own
grenade
tool
made out of. Yeah, he's
out
got
of
a grenade made out of a soup can.
a soup can. I reading.
And then of course he's got some, you know, traumatic events that happen in his life. So he has his one friend, his stuffed animal. I'm gonna look into seeing if I can do actual mini plush, but if not, it's just gonna be this injection molded thing.
Reminds me of Bane, who has his teddy bear.
Oh yeah, did he come as an accessory?
Yeah, Bane has his little teddy bear called Osito.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I didn't steal that idea from Bane.
No, I know.
I'm just kidding.
All right, let's go back to the Kickstarter.
Sure. I've got Bomber over there too.
Yeah. So
Now one
so
thing
that by the way is Pokey, his plush Minotaur.
correct.
Alpha's only real friend. Poor guy.
Now Bomber is Alpha's lackey, so we took a lot of inspiration for that. Alpha Bomber's Renfield from the Bram Stoker story.
Yep.
And same idea. Bomber's is slowly, like, he started out as very the tough guy, kind of you know, brooding and all that, and he's slowly going insane, and we don't know why. That's kind of what the story's going to eventually unfold.
Yeah, you can sort of see that he's meant to be like a heavy.
Yeah. Now his animals mix is he's human, of course, and Bombardier Beetle and Scorpion. So if you don't know what a Bombardier Beetle is, it's this beetle that it's a real beetle, shoots out this searing hot liquid out of its butt, or whatever you want to call it. There's probably a scientific name for bug's rear end, and I don't know what it is.
So I only know what a Bombardier Beetle is because I read a Doctor Who book called The Crawling Terror about giant insects, and one of them was a Bombardier Beetle that shot down a British Army helicopter.
Hey, maybe we'll do the crossover someday with Doctor Who. But yeah, he's
BBC, are you listening?
yeah. Well, the that was kind of what went into alternation as a whole, is we just kind of looked at real animal abilities, and Bombardier Beetles came up because of that.
So, it says in here that you're still working on the mechanism for
Correct.
his tail.
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about that. It might be fun for people that are interested in toy production, is that, we're doing 3 and over safety testing, so that kids of all ages can play with this up to an extent. We don't think a baby's really interested in playing with this toy. But yes, part of the safety testing, we originally thought a catapult mechanism would be safer than sort of spring-loaded stuff and give us more velocity. It
Right.
turns out one of our factories is saying the opposite, that, well, because the way that, if you go back up a little bit to the actual photo,
Yeah.
The way that the scoop is made, that so a kid could put something else in there, say, I don't know, darts or something sharp, and launch it that way. So that might be the thing that's hindering us. So we're going to look into seeing if, instead of it being a catapult, which doesn't have articulation except for the catapult mechanism,
Right.
that we would then instead make it a spring-loaded mechanism, and then you'd be
You
able
would
to
basically pull back the tail and it would click, and then you push a button and it would
correct.
shoot it.
Yeah. The original thing was like, hey, you'd pull the tail back and it would just launch forward. The new way
Right.
we're thinking of is get rid of that launching and just make it articulated, so that he can aim his tail wherever you want. And then, yes, you would put a projectile in, it'd click, push the button, it'd launch in that direction.
You'd have like a ball with almost like a pole, like a missile backing on the back of it, and you would just
Exactly.
fit in the hole and it just clicked. So the hole would be basically where the middle of the tail is.
Yep, exactly. You got it.
That would be very interesting. Have you tried a poll to see which one people would like better?
In fact, yeah, in our comments up there, somebody said, hey, I don't like the articulated tail better.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, he is also very impressive. It's not, not quite the you can tell he's sort of the henchman. He doesn't quite have the elaborate deco of Alpha.
Yeah, we did that kind of. We really wanted to pull in kind of that Black Widow look. So that's kind of where he's why you see it's dark, like maroon color, and then that really bright orange like a Black Widow has.
Yeah.
And then
his
we
face
also
being white is really really cool.
Yeah, we kind of tried to make it look like a skull with a little widow's peak kind of thing.
All right, so let's talk stretch goals, which are the biggest one of the biggest features of any Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. So if you get fully funded, that means everything gets made. So it's $99,000 for full funding. Mm-hmm. Then your stretch goals start at 120. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm always fascinated about this. Does Kickstarter tell you how far over your fully funded amount to start your stretch goals, or do you figure that out yourself?
Did it like make a recommendation or something?
Yeah, like did Kickstarter say, like, if your fully funded goal is going to be, $99,000, then you should start your stretch goals at?
It didn't. No, I just made it up. Honestly, I added 20%. And it's not like it's not so arbitrary as I make it sound. That's kind of what I think tooling and production.
Right, I was going to say. So basically, this is saying, it's going to cost $100 grand basically to make the 2 figures, mm-hmm. and then for another 30 grand we can make the 2 figures and this.
Mm-hmm. Well, 20 grand, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry, 20 grand.
Yeah. But yeah,
it's math today.
I didn't want to, how do I put that? I didn't put a lot of filler in. So it's kind of like straight up, like if I were to take away all the risk and just say, hey, fans, would you like to make this thing? Here's what I would need to do to make it.
Right.
That's basically what it is, you know? It's
Yeah, like
not a lot
often,
of overhead and not a lot of marketing stuff. We kind of have that handled. So
yeah, I often wonder where it comes from.
no,
So the first stretch goal is basically like a sidekick animal, right?
correct. Yeah, if you remember the old Ninja Turtles toys from Playmates back in the 80s and early 90s, they had a lot of characters. It came in the more later figures that they would have characters that would kind of be another accessory. Some of them attached to, not many, but some of them attached to the character. We really love that idea. Those ones were always unpainted and kind of undecorated. So we took that idea and turned it into mutts, what we call mutts. So they're sort of sidekick animals for each of the main characters, and they've got full deco. And we wanted to kind of also, this can also be sort of an army builder, as in because there are multiple ones of these. These are species rather than characters. You can have multiple units of the same character, and they also, one other thing I was going to say. Oh, we were planning on doing these as blind boxes originally. So again, the kind of the fun and the hunt of it would be that maybe El Rey is your favorite character. You really want to hunt for that Beekman sidekick when you're doing the blind boxes, or we would have a different mutt for each of the main figures.
Right. So like it reminds me of because it's another line that's very much brought back into the forefront by Super 7. Reminds me a lot of the Silverhawks, where all of the Silverhawks came with their own hawks that attached to their arms, and it was their own familiar,
Yeah, I never got it. I can't speak to that. I know the Silverhawk show, but I didn't ever see the action figures as a kid, but that's cool.
Yeah, like the Quicksilver figure came with Tallyhawk and so on and so forth. And they all sort of clipped onto their wrists.
Yeah, so Beekman attaches to El Rey's arm. We have characters that go in the back. We have other characters that hold accessories. I don't want to reveal any of them. I mean, I'm not going to give away those secrets yet, because that's kind of like why you want to unlock a stretch goal.
I was going to say it, like stretch goals and everything.
Yeah, once the first stretch goal is unlocked, we'll show you the next one in its special, the character it matches up to.
And then
now this is where we're getting into the fun part, the add-ons.
Yeah, so underneath this are add-ons. So all these add-ons are extra purchases that you can make that you guys have come up with to sort of add to the Kickstarter. Now, how do the add-ons work?
So whenever you make a pledge, as long as it's over a certain amount, you're allowed to make an add-on purchase. What we're doing differently than most add-ons, we have our standard stuff, like we have large quantities of the graphic novel and things like that. But we also we're doing what's called a reverse auction. So for all of our one-of-a-kind items, we're starting the add-on price high and gradually reducing it over the campaign. So the reason for that is we'll hopefully get the highest price for it. That's the benefit for us. But we're also we're making an incentive for people to come back to the campaign all the time and maybe pick up something for a bargain. Or so anyway, the idea is that you're going to be constantly looking for what did the price get lowered, and you want to buy it before the next person says, yeah, that price is low enough for me. So anyway, reverse auction, It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of cool looking prototypes, some mutts that were only produced once.
Yeah, I was going to say, here's the prototype ones. You have the Paint Master for Alpha.
Yeah, so you can see why that was an expensive Paint Master.
Yeah.
He has tons of little rings on him, octopus rings. blue octopus, which is one of the most, actually, I think we picked that one because it's bioluminescent, and that's one of his powers. I think they might be poisonous too. But anyway, if we had done that deco operation, the figure would have ended up costing,
I was gonna say the figure would have cost a fortune.
yeah, it would have been in over 100 at least. I don't know. I don't even want to think about it.
Also Bomber. This is the original paint master for Bomber.
Well, this is the looks like works like prototype. So originally Bomber was going to have electronics in him as well, and that ended up being cost prohibitive as well.
Right.
He's part Firefly, so he was gonna, when you pulled the launcher tail back, it would start to glow, and then you release it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it still works, I think. Don't ask me. I don't want to mess with it and end up breaking it. Those wires were to attach to a battery pack.
Right, to make the sounds work and everything. Yeah. Sabotage is the first test to sabotage.
Yep. So same thing. That there's electronics inside of it. He also has a way better, way more detailed paint job on him. So a lot more silver paint. Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, the finished sabotage does come with sound. So that part actually did make it into.
Yeah, sabotage didn't change much, just on the paint operations. We reduced those. Now this is
prototype El Rey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This El Rey was the first off the line. We ended up changing the color of his eyes and the tentacles on his shoulders, and the color of his spear gun on the left side of the screen. So one of a kind, first off the line.
The first sham.
First off the line sham. You might see why we changed the color here. So the story behind this is we didn't specify to the factory what color the internal mechanisms are going to be. So they picked green, which was the same green as his skin, and well, it looked like his nuts were showing. So
yeah,
that's not a good idea for a kid's toy brand, So we said, we insisted they changed it to the same color as his brown.
I'm guessing this is the most appropriate picture of this you could possibly have posted to Kickstarter, because I'm guessing all the other views of this to show why you changed this color make it much more evident.
Well, we wanted to make sure people knew what the error was. You gotta see what you're buying.
Because I have to say, to be 100% honest with you, it took me a couple of minutes to figure out what the picture was trying to show me. And then I figured it out. Yeah.
Well, we make it a little more obvious. If you go to if you check out our Instagram, I don't know when this is, anyway, if you check out our Instagram, you should see, we had a lot of fun with this video.
Oh, I bet you did. Over the 7th early design test.
Yep. So he was a lot more human, first of all, and then his horns were just a little too not good for tooling. So pulling the horns out of the mold, if they were shaped like that, would have made them more likely to like rip apart or something.
Yeah.
So factory didn't like that. There's plenty of horns out there we could imitate for cattle. And that's what we did. And then we also just made him a little more monkey face. So here is he's way more human face, and he just kind of has monkey hands and feet. If you scroll down one more, I think we get a close-up of his face. Yeah, you can kind of see he looked like Bob's Big Boy to me. So yeah, we made it a little more that kind of Planet of the Apes jaw.
Yeah.
And change the colors a little bit on him, maybe give him a little more contrast.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a solid choice. And a Dart printer test. There's 3D printed, not painted, and there's no articulation, so it does not do the backflip.
No, it's really big, and I don't know. We ended up going like, well, I think there was an issue of scale.
I can't believe that it was bigger than what came out, because the one that came out was huge.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing Dart for the first time, going, "Oh my god, it's enormous."
He's a big boy.
He is a big one. Clover, this is also a looks like works like model.
Correct. And,
Um,
and again, I didn't mention it on Albert, but he also comes with prototype packaging. You can, this one, I believe the changes were, so he's more painted. You can see
oh, yeah,
that
it
he's
actually
got a little
says,
bit of
sorry,
like,
I went past the thing.
that's fine. He's got a little more like grit to his nails and
Yeah.
like black around the nails on the bottom. And then also on the porcupine quills were a little bit more. I think that these have kind of the root of the porcupine quills are painted black. On the final ones, they were not. And then he also has his ears painted like a really nice purple on this one.
We
Some
should,
embellishment on the costume a little bit too. Yeah.
I think we should explain to people who again don't know much about the industry. A looks like works like model is
Yes.
what you show to buyers so that they can see what you have in mind for the final product when the quote unquote final figures aren't ready yet.
Mhm. Yeah, and even the factory too. It's like kind of almost like a little contract where you're like, we agree that it's going to look like and work like this. You know?
Yeah,
So there's no question.
it's like the that in between step between the prototype and the final figure.
Right. And the reason is because when you go into mass production, you have to make these, they're called tools. They're basically molds of all these little plastic pieces. But you don't want to make those until you're sure you got it right. So we 3D print things first, but the 3D prints are very brittle and they take time. So it is, like you said, it's an in-between. And they're, like I said before, they're so brittle. God, I've broken so many. And by the way, if you bid on any of these, they may have been broken, so they come warts and all. I don't think the breakingness affects the sentimental value nor the collector's value because it was officially broken by Panda Mony. So.
I like how you put that in just to cover your bases.
That you just gotta.
All right, so let's look at the backing level so people know what they're in for. So if you pledge, so there's a $10 pledge that you can make just because you think it's really cool and you don't actually want anything out of it.
We didn't think that was good enough. People have been doing that, but that's fine. We even made a $1 pledge where we'll put your name on our website. So
yeah.
As if you're in the universe with the characters.
So if you pledge $1, you get your name and your rank on gkdelta.navy.
Yep, that's our ARG game where people can kind of have fun learning about the characters in sort of a report form or like as if you hacked into the secret program's website. We present it that way. I really recommend anybody listening check it out. gkdelta.navy. It's a lot of fun.
So your rank for that particular tier, for the $1 tier, is seaman.
Yeah, nobody wants to be a seaman. Come on.
Man, PG, Ryan, PG. Pledge $5 and you get a digital download of Sham's secret files covering the missing month of December 2049, called The Lost December. It is a short story, just so people understand what they're getting.
Yep.
So it's a short story that you get as a PDF.
Correct. We've been doing short stories to all fan club members every month. And so the way that would work is you would get a preview of it if you were a fan club member, and then you would go to gkdelta.navy. You could read the rest of the story. Only fan club members got the password for that month. And then like later on, it would unlock for anybody. But with this short story, The Lost December, it's a little more PG of a story. So we didn't want to we know we have, kids as young as 5 in our fan club list. So we didn't want to upset parents with, with the themes in it. So I think it's totally safe for kids, but I didn't want to force it on anybody. And by mailing it out. So that was a perfect solution. Well, we can make it a digital download.
And your Hall of Heroes mention rank for the
Goes
$5 tier is Petty Officer.
Yeah, because you don't want to be a seaman. You want to at least get that petty officer rank, guys.
$24, you get Bomber.
Mhm.
I love the fact that you have a Kickstarter that doesn't allow decimal discount. I think that's fantastic.
I would put it 99 and it would round up $1. So there you go. They're onto that age-old marketing scheme of charging 99 cents instead of $1.
So with this tier, you get Bomber and you get the Lost December, and your Hall of Heroes rank goes up to Master Chief.
Mhm.
$29, you get Alpha. Again, Alpha is totally worth the extra $5. I'm guessing that's just the wings and everything.
Yeah, he's in a bigger box too.
Yeah. So you get Alpha, you get the Lost December, and your Hall of Heroes rank goes up to Ensign. So you're officially Wesley Crusher.
It's funny you mentioned that. We took a lot of inspiration from Star Trek. I always thought it was fun. Like, okay, what happens if Kirk is incapacitated? Who's next?
Yeah.
And of course, it was Spock. Because anyway, we'll get into all that. But I always thought it was fun, like keeping track of that, like down to like I think I knew it up to like Scotty and stuff. So anyway.
Yeah, I think they made that whole rank system much clearer when the Next Generation came around.
Yeah,
they had the pips, they had the pips on the uniform collar, and you could always tell, the people with solid gold ones were higher up than the people that had solid gold and black, or that sort of
that's
thing.
a lot of fun. I figured they probably figured that out after the original series was done. They probably
because on the original series, they treated it like military uniforms. It was based on the stripes on the arm.
Yeah, on the arm. Yeah.
So
like they took a lot from the Navy, just like us.
Yeah.
Because it was a ship.
So $54 gives you both of them, Alpha and Bomber, which saves you $1.98 because they save 99 cents on each one.
Twice.
So that's Bomber, Alpha, again, the Lost December, and your Hall of Heroes rank goes up to Lieutenant. Then $106 gets you 2 Bombers and 2 Alphas, of course, 1 to open and 1 to leave in package. Though theoretically, since your packaging is reusable.
But I don't know. An eBay collector will notice that. So if you're really hardcore about keeping things like MIP, maybe you need to buy 2, buddy.
So that's 2 Bombers, 2 Alphas. It's also Lost December, and your Hall of Heroes rank goes up to Lieutenant Commander. You're officially Data. 188. Now this is where things start to get interesting. So for $188, you get Phase 2 and all of Phase 1.
Yep, did that for people that were new to the brand and kind of wanted to support us.
This is fairly incredible. So this is 8 figures total for the $188. So it's Bomber, Alpha, and then all of Phase 1, which is Sabotage, Sham, El Rey, Dart, Albert the 7th, can't see the 2 eyes, and Quilroy. And that's a really impressive collection for in one shot. And then your Hall of Heroes rank goes up to Commander. So you're officially Will Riker. And then you go $376. That's 2 Phase 2s and 2 Standard Edition Phase 1s. And this is again, this is gonna be a really big box.
It's gonna be 2 boxes, just so everybody gets a heads up. I'm like doing this like the Young Frankenstein, but there's a gnat just bugging me.
Yeah, it's two Bombers, 2 Alphas, and 2 of everybody else. Also, again, the Lost December, and your Hall of Heroes rank goes up to Vice Admiral. You skipped Captain entirely.
Did I? Oh man.
Yeah, it goes from Commander to Vice Admiral.
There was a reason for that. Dang it. Oh well. All right. Well, hey, back our
that's
Kickstarter
all.
big time, and we just don't want you to, don't mess around. You go straight up the corporate ladder, or in this case, the naval ladder. I don't know.
So that's those are the basic rewards. And then the
Mhm.
add-ons, oh, I have to
Yeah, you have to
select the
pledge
thing to
one
get,
first.
you have to
Uh,
select the thing to get to the add-ons.
yeah.
So I'll pick what I would end up picking. You're gonna let me? Does it let me do it?
Radio silence.
That's weird.
Hmm.
It's not letting me. It's not letting me hit the radio button.
Huh. Kickstarter, if you're listening,
Yeah, I am hitting that.
get it together. Yeah, I noticed some bugs with their site. That's kind of,
Yeah, I am trying to
When-
select an option and it's not letting me.
what happens if you refresh?
I wonder if it's you. I wonder if you don't click the button. I wonder if it's. That's what I thought. So you actually. So for those of you watching this, in order to do this, don't click the radio button. You have to click the box, and the radio button will light up itself.
You would think it would be the, like, what we're in, like the 20th year of the world, no, probably 25th year of the World Wide Web, having radio buttons.
So
And they did it.
now, when you go in here, you have your add-ons. You'll sign them. That's so nice.
Yeah. $2, I'll write on this. In all fairness, it does take, I would do it for free if you come and find me at a convention, but for something where I got to do logistics and everything, $2 makes it worth it, please.
So for $2, you get Ryan's autograph. For $14, you'll get the Day Hide Hybrid trade paperback.
Mhm.
And then all of these. So I've actually never seen these new confused weapon ones before.
Yeah, you go grab them.
In all the time that we've talked about these.
Yeah, I got one right here. So what it is
Hold on, let me switch back to you for a second.
oh yeah, sure. Well, before you do that, let me get them out of the box.
I promised your listeners we're still here, just waiting for Ryan to get these.
So for the variant, we can switch
Okay.
if you want, whenever
There we
you're
go.
ready. The variant is, you can tell it has a sticker on it, indicates it's a variant. So this is an unopened one. What's different about these? Same figure as normal, except the sticker, of course, and it comes with a little bag. If you can read this, it says special issue equipment, radiation warning.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not really radioactive, but we did these kind of old school. What we told the factory is we wanted those old school, like GI Joes or whatever, where they had the projectiles that were like bright orange.
Mm-hmm.
The factory came back and said, well, it's cheaper just to paint them. So we ended up painting them. I painted a neon bright orange. I'm sure it'll glow in a black light, but I've never tried it. So you get these weapons inside a bag inside of there, and along with the regular standard weapons.
Oh, okay. So you get extra weapons. I didn't know if they were a replacement or if they were. Right,
just an add-on.
We'll go back now and. Okay. So yeah. So all 6 of the original figures have this nuke inspired weapon that you can choose, and these were pretty limited. So.
Right. Yeah. I don't know the exact number we made. It was in the hundreds somewhere.
So each one of those is 45, or each one of those is, well, no. So let me get this right. So Albert the Seventh, El Rey, and Sham are 40, and then Dart and Quilroy are 45 because they're larger figures.
Correct.
So there's no sabotage with nuke inspired weapon then.
There should be. Let me go. Oh, you know what? I may have run out of them. I'll double check that and see.
Okay, because he's not on the list. So
We only had a few of these left, so it could be somebody already bought them all.
oh wait, no, there he is. He's underneath the rare stuff for some reason.
Oh, maybe just price. Yeah, I don't know why. That is weird. Oh, because we lowered the price. See, this is part of our reverse auction. We already lowered the price on Commander Stone's letter, so there you go.
Yes, so Stone's letter prop. This is a prop used for instructional video on how to join the Alternation fan club. Is this so? There's only one of these then.
There is only one of these. Yep.
Yeah, so that is also $45.
Yep. Everything right. That's marked rare stuff is the stuff that's going in the reverse auction, and there was either one or two of them made. So we list what it is on the thing.
So then we have a foam core diorama display. So these things are really cool. I have to say, I saw the picture of this and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Then there's a grab bag, which comes with an enamel pin, a set of stickers, a collectible silver narwhal, a convention exclusive print version of the Delta Deploy comic book, and a strange randomly chosen mystery item or rare leftover alternation promotional stuff. And there's the glow-in-the-dark blue narwhal, which is $90 because only 2 were ever made. Same with the green and the red and the white. And then there's a white Softbox. So these are also mutts, right?
Yes.
The white Softbox, only 2 were ever produced, so that's also $90. Uncut mini comics, which is pretty awesome. You don't see uncut comic sheets very often. So that's $140.
Anything marked rare stuff could be going lower in price. It's part of the. It's 140 now, but maybe lower by the time you guys see this.
The glow-in-the-dark blue Softbox, which only 1 was ever made. Same with the green Softbox and the red. So that is $190. So the L-Ray test sample is $950, but again, literally only one of these was ever made. Sham is $1,900. That's the sham that we showed you that is not safe for work in its initial version. Albert VII Paint Master that we showed you, $2,500. The 3D printed dart with no articulation or painting is $2,500. The Clo-Ray prototype, which was used to test the mechanism, is $2,500. And the Sabotage prototype is $3,800. And the Bomber prototype that we showed at the beginning of this is $4,800. And the Alpha Paint Master, which includes the incredibly intricate blue ring octopus paint, is $5,800. So those are the add-ons. Now, anybody can pick any of those add-ons as long as they pledge to the campaign. So now the question is, obviously Kickstarter is, you said in this Kickstarter, it's all or nothing. So either there'll be enough pledges and people will get the figures, or there won't be and they won't. Do the add-ons follow that same theory? Like if I pledge for the Alpha and Bomber, and then I want the, say the nuke inspired Quilroy, and the campaign doesn't get funded, will you still charge me for and send me the Quilroy?
Well, I won't charge you by force, but I will offer hey.
Well, no, but
Yeah. I'll be like, oh, hey. Well, actually, I don't even think I can, unless it's all or nothing. If people buy it and it doesn't get funded, yeah, I'll definitely reach out to anybody who put the pledge in and say, hey, we still want this, because we already have them. We might as well.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant. Well, that's why I asked, because it obviously says, all or nothing at the beginning of the Kickstarter.
Yeah. But this whole campaign's going to go off, so don't even worry about that, Rob.
Oh yeah, no, this campaign's going to go off like gangbusters.
Look, we already got another $100 while we were talking. I don't know if that's true or not.
I think that's true. I think it went up. But there are 25 days to go. And these figures are really good. Like I can't impress upon you seeing them realized off of the cell sheets. Just makes them that much more impressive. Like I said, as soon as I saw Alpha, I knew that Alpha would be a really very, very special figure when it was eventually realized and released. And I'm very pleased to see that it remains the impressive design that I saw on the cell sheets, all those months ago.
Yeah, you probably saw a rendering or something that wasn't final either, huh?
So again, you can go to Kickstarter Pandamony.com and it will take you directly. No, sorry, no, backwards, right?
AlternationKickstarter.com.
Oh, right, alternation. Sorry, AlternationKickstarter.com, or you can go to justkickstarter.com and type in Panda Mony Toys, and then you'll get there too. But Alternation Kickstarter is the direct link. Again, they need $99,000 to make this a successful Kickstarter, and they're about what? You're about at what? 10?
Maybe 4 and 5%.
Yeah, about 5%. We'll be generous and round up and say 5%.
Sure.
There's 25 days to go. Again, the minimum backing to get both of these figures is $54. But there's a bunch of other levels you can pledge at, and there's a bunch of add-ons. If they make the $99,000, the stretch goal would be 120 to get the first mutt that they're looking to release, and that again down here is Beekman.
Like Beekman's World, huh?
I used to love it.
Well, yeah, that you've pretty much covered it, Rob. We have more. We're excited to show more stretch goals, but yeah, that's the first one. So unlock the first one. We'll have plenty more to go. And who knows, if we get $1 million in the next 25 days, maybe we'll make an alternation show. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't want it to. Yeah. So I know you can't say much about it, which is why I haven't asked you about it. I mean, you guys
have given enough juicy tidbits that like there's we have a lot of stuff on the back burner as far as alternation goes that just never got made. So there's
I mean, you guys were talking to people about animation, and I know we talked very briefly about it like 4 months ago because you really didn't have much to say about it. Is there more to say about it now than there was then?
Not really. No, it's
I think so.
Yeah, it's the same stuff. It's kind of like for anyone who's tried to sell a show in through the traditional channels, it's really sometimes it's like winning the lottery. I think unless you're kind of like an ex-Saturday Night Live alumni or something, like it's really hard to get a show on there, even for people that have like sold tons of shows before. So we had a lot of good a lot of positive reviews of it, and some of them are still outstanding, and some people said well, not right now. So if this Kickstarter goes off though, that's another thing. It's like it kind of gives us a little more credibility if they say, hey, these guys had so many fans out there, they could raise 100,000 or 120 or however much, that the industry kind of takes notice. So that's one reason why it's really important that this Kickstarter does get funded for us. Another thing is that we've got tons of ideas, not just for alternation, but for other brands, because we're Panda Mony Toy brands, not brand. We'd like to do more than just alternation, and you know, that this Kickstarter would be the first successful Kickstarter we've done, and it would open up the door for us to bring other concepts out, totally unrelated to alternation. So this is really a watershed moment for our company. So we're hoping it goes off. We're hoping it kind of gives us some validation from the public that alternation is worthwhile, and that you know, right, everything I said before. I'd like to do more brands than just alternation. And in fact, I'll probably be sharing some of those brands over the course of the Kickstarter. Everything is this week has been marketing the Kickstarter. Eventually, I'd like to get more into updates. So
Yeah, and like I said, you know, you don't want to say like, you know, this is a Bet the Farm Kickstarter, but it really kind of is. Like,
kind of, yeah.
is,
I mean, it's,
you know, it's really kind of like like you said, this is like the watershed moment for you guys. It's, you know, will people, you know, help us make more? Like, do people believe in us enough to give us the money to make more of our stuff?
pretty much, yeah. Because I mean, it was really hard to like not valid. What's the word I'm like? Give it a true acid test of the brand during this whole 2020 thing.
Yeah.
And that's sort of why I that's part of why I did this Kickstarter. And I guess that's it. I lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, it's, you know, like, I mean, obviously, you know, you've seen enough from the sales of
Yeah.
the first series at Amazon and at comic stores, and you've had enough people call and ask that, you know, that, you know, at least what you did, like the first series, has been verified as, you know, a product that people want to own.
Mhm.
Now it's just a question of, do they want to see us do more beyond that first series?
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I think that's what this Kickstarter is about more than anything else for you guys. It's not really about, you know, do people want to buy figures we made? Because obviously, like I said, given the sales at Amazon and Walmart.com and Target.com and the comic stores and everything, the answer is yes, people want to buy figures that we made. The question is, do those people want to show you the loyalty of jumping on to see what you do next?
Well, part of it, I mean, another that's one way to say it. It's, to me, it's not so much about the loyalty. We're actually really just pleading with the public's health. We didn't want to, you know, take
Right.
bailouts and stimulus and stuff, and we didn't. So this was kind of a way to, but the lockdowns definitely affected us, and
Oh
it
yeah.
really difficult to like gauge how the brand's doing under how it would have fared under normal circumstances,
Right.
because we debuted just before 2020.
Right. Like, the
So
question obviously is always going to be, you know, if you'd had, you know, C2E2 and New York Comic Con and San
yeah,
Diego Comic Con and, you know, all those, and Toy Fair last year and all those shows, would this Kickstarter be necessary?
yeah, and that's what I was trying to say earlier when I lost my train of thought. Like, I'm totally like agnostic when it comes to like this brand versus another brand. You know, I
Right.
have tons of ideas in the hopper. Yeah, we can totally, like, if somebody says if the market had said clearly we don't want alternation, I would have been cool with that. But it was just the heartache of like, man, this never got a really fair day in court
Right.
because of you know. So anyway,
I
this is
mean,
kind of the way we can test that.
and it's actually really impressive when you guys think about it, that in spite of that, you still had all those sales at Walmart.com and Target.com and small comic stores and Amazon and your own store. And, you know, you have people still calling you up saying, hey, I'd like to carry your figures. You know, that's an incredible testament to you guys, since you have had virtually zero chance to do any in-person word of mouth pitching of your stuff.
Thanks.
like you can hold up, Alpha and Bomber on the screen, and I can see that, but like it's way different when I go to, when I can go to like Diamond's booth at Comic-Con and you're there and I can like pick them up and touch them.
Yeah.
Like like I said to you before, I was referred to you by a mutual friend of ours, Tony from Toy Hype USA, and before Tony referred me to you guys, I had no idea who you were or what your products were. And then I went and saw them in person and was absolutely blown away. And then we did, that awesome Nerds in a Bar thing with Gil, where you brought the figures and we showed off the action features, and they really got to see how incredible they were. And like, at least for my part, I have not stopped talking about your figures since that day.
Well, thanks, Rob. And yeah, I really do appreciate it. And man, you bring up Gil and Nerds in the Bar. I missed doing those too, by the way.
Oh,
Anyway,
I
I
know.
know. We've done like 2 or 3 of them, and they're always a lot of fun. So.
We've been, we've Gil and I have been in touch, but we have not found the time to like go out and hang out anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm hoping that I finally, get to reconnect with him at New York Comic Con, because it looks like we're all gonna go. So, crossing my fingers.
Yeah, that's cool. Well,
but yeah, no, like he knows. Like I think he got the email about your Kickstarter.
Oh.
So hopefully, like he plays it up and I'll play it up, and like I said, I talked to everyone that I know that is looking for like new action figures for their kids about your stuff. So
I appreciate it, man. You've been nothing but kind to us and very promotive, so I have no doubt, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's amazing. I like I said, your stuff's amazing. Like I feel so bad for you that you guys haven't been able to get like the presents you need at like a show where you can like you can put your amazing toys out on the table and have people go, oh my God, what's that?
Yeah, I understand. The other part of that that's frustrating is that like knowing that that's what it took ahead of time and then to have it shut down was kind of like a bummer, because we did get a lot of cynics in the industry that are like, well, you can't make action figures unless it's Batman or whatever,
Yeah,
Marvel, so that's a little heartbreaking to like haha, we're gonna do it anyway, here we go, 2020 is gonna be our year, and then like
yeah.
What can you do? Like sometimes stuff just
If
doesn't
it makes you feel better, 2020 was nobody's year, so.
Well, I heard that some toy manufacturers did all right.
Makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that what little made it to retail shelves sold, but
yeah,
I can also tell you that people learned to curse unnamed dock workers in California who couldn't fill container ships fast enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I think that if the whole toy industry could just forget 2021 or 2020 and just move on from there and just put it in a corner and be like, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't want to be bitter or like make excuses either, so it's kind of like this is our time to shine. So that's what this Kickstarter's for. And if anybody's listening, we really appreciate your support to keep us going. We'd like to bring you more stuff.
For my part, I really hope somebody's listening. I really enjoy doing these in general, but it's always much better for me if someone's actually listening to it.
That's true.
Validating this small part of my life experience is really important to me.
Well, for our part, you've always been kind to us, and I do wish you lots of success, Rob.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, you are some of the guys I feel like the worst for, given what's happened, because like your stuff is really good, and like I've said it a billion times, like you could do way worse than to pick up, for people to pick up your toys. Like I really think that that your line is something very special, and I really hope that you get what you need out of this Kickstarter, because I really really hope that you guys continue, because I can't wait to see what else you have up your sleeve.
Well, that's very kind of you, Rob. I don't know what else to say. You're
Yeah,
embarrassing.
I know. Like, I'm gonna do a shotgun and get people to go on a Kickstarter right now.
I'm like trying to think of like, man, I got to help Rob out. Or like, he's been too kind to me. I'm like trying to look. Is there an exclusive I can show? Hey, I do have an exclusive I can show you. This is a concept we wanted to do. Like, if we get funded for alternation, here's another idea we had for a toy line called Tank Drone.
Oh my god.
Did you ever have Mask or Jason the Wheeled Warriors?
Oh yeah, I had Match.
So we wanted to combine that idea with Twisted Metal. So it's a world
Oh
where
wow.
you got a character with tanks, matches his personality, you know? So we got our greaser guy here. Of course he has a,
It's like
57
when you
tank.
say mask, do you mean like the vehicles would like transform into a different form, or?
Well, these aren't going to transform, and I don't want to give away too much of the concept.
Right, of course.
But this was if you liked alternation and you appreciated the fun of the toy, we would like to take these concept art pieces and make them into something fun that you can play with, and you'll have fun with it. It's gimmicky, just like alternation. So anyway, exclusive for Rob's show.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Nobody outside the company has seen this concept. And these are all our concept arts, so they're copyrighted. Haha, Mattel. Try and steal that.
Yeah, because they're hurting right now.
Yeah. I heard they were hurting. I don't know. That changed probably.
They need another line.
They probably benefited from 2020. I don't know.
Oh my god. Well, thank you so much. That was awesome. So,
absolutely.
So for those of you watching this, if you can help Pandamony out and get alternation series 2 made, maybe we'll see that line down the line.
And this is just one concept we have on the back burner. We have at least, I don't know, we have hundreds, but the ones that are really developed, at least a dozen. So
you said you really sort of have something for kind of every major category. Like you said, you have stuff for vehicles, you have stuff for building sets, like you have like all sorts of different
every category except outdoor and baby. I don't want to touch those because the safety involved.
Right.
and tariffs.
I'd much rather make toys that fire missiles.
Yeah.
There's no safety involved there.
Make a trampoline and see how far I get.
Make a trampoline and shoot
we have collectibles. We've got fashion dolls. We've got vehicles that you just saw. So yeah, I'd love to bring all these out.
Yeah, I think.
I've got a really great construction set idea that I think would just revolutionize toys. But I've showed it to other people in the industry, and they're like, "Whoa, that's a good idea." Because it's really cynical people I've showed it to. They're like, "What's your idea?"
And then they're like, "Please describe how it works."
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if we can keep alternation going, that would be the first step in getting even more products out that I think that the industry needs.
Yeah, like I said, I genuinely hope, like, Ryan's not paying me. I'm not on his staff. I'm not on his payroll. I'm not any kind of paid spokesperson for him, I have to tell you that I honestly, genuinely believe that this is one of the most creative, new, original toy lines to come out in a very, very long time. I'm being absolutely sincere about that. The figures are incredible. Their action features are amazing. For a smaller toy company, the quality on them is absolutely amazing. It is really on par with the quality of figures you would get from a larger company like Hasbro or Mattel or Playmates. I would put these up against any of those figures. And in fact, the toy industry has put these up against those figures because Ryan was lucky enough to have Alternation nominated for a very prestigious Toy of the Year award last year. And that is an extraordinary feat because you are up against all of the major toys in your division.
Yeah.
And
that was really cool. That was very humbling and very cool.
And I mean, that's really a sign that you're doing something right, because those nominations have to come from your peers in the toy industry.
Yeah.
And they're voted on by like everyone. They're voted on by manufacturers. They're voted on by company executives. They're voted on by us. They're voted on, they're voted on by a very wide variety of people across the industry. And so for you to be like in that category as a fledgling company is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So congratulations for you for making those kick-ass toys.
Thank you very much, Rob.
And like I said, I honestly believe that these are some of the most creative, original action figures produced in quite some time. And I don't know what else I can say to get people to go and look at them and possibly pick them up for themselves. But like, go to any of the places they're available. They have a store on Amazon. They have their own store, store.pandamony toys, store.pandamony.toys, right?
Correct.
That's the other thing. He has the coolest URL. He actually has a .toys URL, which is just incredible. I always smile when I think about that.
It confuses people, but yeah.
So it is
no,
store.
Doesn't confuse the young kids. They get it.
It is
.com.
It is store.pandamony.com.
.toys.
.toys. That's right. It is store.pandamony.toys, and it's Pandamony Toys on Amazon. You can find them at Walmart.com. You can find them at Target.com. You can find them at your local comic shop. If they don't have them, you can ask them to get them, and they will talk to Ryan, and Ryan will certainly get them to them for you. It is definitely worth looking into, especially if you have kids who play with action figures for like 2 seconds and lose interest. These figures have enough action features and enough incredible story behind them to start kids really making up some incredibly creative stories on their own with these figures. And if you get the wave ones and you like them, or if you already own the wave ones and you love them like I do, please make sure you go to Alternation Kickstarter and you back wave 2, because I have been waiting and hoping for wave 2 for some time now, and if we don't all get together and back wave 2, it's not going to get made. And if wave 2 doesn't get made, then the chances become slimmer that we could see more of those awesome concepts that Ryan showed us. And knowing Ryan like I can only imagine what some of those other concepts are, and I can't wait to hopefully see what else he's come up with. But the honest to God truth here is that this is a really great company that makes really great toys, and they need our help.
We do, honestly. Like
they're asking for it.
Yeah, I don't want to like. Yeah, I really appreciate everything you're saying, Rob, and do want to actually stress that we are actually like kind of pleading for help at this point.
I mean, we're trying not to doom and gloom it, obviously, but the fact of the matter is that although the pandemic affected big companies, the pandemic affected smaller companies so much more.
Well, that's kind of like, I really wanted to set out to say like, hey, an independent company can do it. And like, there's a frustration. I've been pretty vocal about it, but it's just that kids are getting nothing but reboots, and even adults, you're getting nothing but reboots on TV, on your movies, on games. It's like a different thing. Don't worry about games, but and then even in the action figure out, it's like the same stuff we've seen for 15, 20, 30, heck, 60 years even. Captain America's pretty old. So I don't know. It's just, it seemed like that's going to stop at some point, and that the consumer deserves something that's not an insult to his or her intelligence. That like, hey, you can't just slap Captain America's name on something and I'm going to buy it, So that's kind of what we're really trying to fight against, that, and just the like lack of creativity from the big studios, the big five, really. So I mean, for a small part, we can play in that, and if the consumer likes it, I hope it works out,
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say that they want you, it's not to say you can't have Captain America, or you shouldn't enjoy the Avengers, or you shouldn't enjoy He-Man, or you shouldn't enjoy Transformers.
But you got to think that all that stuff is displacing new stuff, and especially if it's been done. Like, I love Spider-Man. They're not going to stop making Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And
so I was talking to Jeremy from Jazzwares last week, and I think it's a perfect corollary to this, because Jeremy is currently shepherding like a dozen brands, but like one of his like projects, one of his like personal projects, is the All Elite Wrestling line that is that just hit its 1-year anniversary.
Yeah,
so
that was a case where like WWE had been the dominant brand ever since ECW went out. So I'm sorry, ever since WCW went out, ECW too, but yeah, and like it was bound to happen that somebody would come along with something good that can compete with was basically a monopoly, and that's kind of what we're trying to do with on obviously a much smaller scale than AEW, but just that there aren't a lot of outlets creatively for new brands, and the more art, and I like to like think about philosophically about art and other things, but the more artists just play into that system, the less they're going to really break out. You're just going to be contributing to the Marvel license and never making a license of your own. So I don't think it's a good system.
And like one of the things that Jeremy said, is it's not easy to go into to go to like Target and Walmart and be like, okay, I have this new line, and we believe it should get shelf space next to this line. So like Jeremy's going in and saying, we're setting ourselves up to compete with Mattel's WWE line. And they're like, well, fine, we're going to give you a peg. And they're like, well, okay, we'll take the peg. And then, obviously over the last year, the sales and the fan base have shown, that they are solidly behind this line. So now Walmart goes, okay, you can have 2 pegs.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was going to say, that was short-sighted of them to not see AEW coming, but yeah, now that they're only giving 2 pegs. It might be a case of just that bureaucracy that exists in corporations and government and stuff, when there's so many people involved with decision making, and there's so many people under them that are like chomping at the bit to take their spot. It makes change it just makes things kind of stagnant. I think that might have been what happened there.
Well, so like the WWE line, and it, has the WWE line's expanded like a lot, so it has a lot of different SKUs. So now, like,
but everybody was talking about AEW. Like as soon as AEW came out, it seemed obvious that it was the real deal, that it was gonna give WWE real run for its.
I think the biggest problem when they came out was that they didn't have a TV deal immediately in place. Like it took a few months for them to work out the logistics of putting Dynamite on TNT and all that. And I think that because they didn't have that TV deal ready to go, that it slowed up the retail end of things for the action figures. Like I think that, I think Walmart and Target were like, well, they don't really have any concrete, TV deal yet. So where's the where's the turnover fan base going to come from?
Yeah.
Like I think once Dynamite went on the air, I think the Walmart and Target people were like, okay, now we get it.
Well, that's what I was just going off of what you said, but you said they only got 2 pegs even after they were on TV though.
Well, so the Unrivaled line launched a year ago, and it was only I think a couple of months removed from when the first Dynamite went on the air. But like the deal was signed like almost right after AEW started, like before they had a TV deal. And so like it was really hard for for executives to see what it was gonna be. I think once Dynamite went on the air and the ratings for Dynamite started coming in, that's when the people at Walmart and Target were like, oh, now we get it. So like they've slowly been expanding their presence at both companies, but obviously it's all tied to, resets. And then like, the problem is WWE ended up sprawling across, the aisle, because they had the basics and they had the elite, they had the ultimate, they had the 2-packs. And so like they had all these different SKUs. And so like, I think now the challenge for Walmart and Target is like, where can we pare it down so that we can put more AEW in? Because at the end of the day, there's only, like 8 feet of space for wrestling toys, so it's like, where can we make this balance?
I don't know about your Target, but mine was the action figures themselves have gotten less space. Are you finding that?
My store has
there's like 3 aisles of Legos.
There's 3 aisles of Legos. There's 3 aisles of action figures in my store too. Yeah,
I've got like 1.
You might have a smaller store. Like there's different size Targets, and they have different. There's different size Targets, and they have different size departments.
Well, yeah, where I was going with that is, I don't know. It seemed like action figures are kind of scarce a little bit, but then again, I see that they're getting like Targets and Walmarts I don't know about Walmart, but Target's getting like exclusives. Oh, you know what? That's what it is. They move a lot of the action figure aisles over to the video game section. Like more collectible ones.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. Yeah.
I think a lot of it, like there's like, again, there's still a little backup in California, and I think that's what's keeping the aisles a little scarce. But I understand that sort of logjam is supposed to be clearing up in the next at least starting to clear up. So things are starting to come in more. Like I'm starting to see a lot more product come into stores than I was used to seeing during last year. So I'm crossing my fingers that things are getting better. All right. Well, again, it has been a pleasure to talk to you, Ryan, and I'm glad to see you're doing so well. And I hope that the Kickstarter is fully funded and gets everything that it needs. Again, it is Alternation Kickstarter. Will take you directly to the Kickstarter page, or you can go to Kickstarter.com and search for Panda Mony Toys. The first series of figures are available.
So I was just saying, probably search for Alternation on there.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was Pandamonyum. I'm sorry. Is it Alternation?
AlternationKickstarter.com, or just go to Kickstarter and search for Pandamony or Alternation. Probably will take you there.
Okay.
But
What he said.
AlternationKickstarter.com is easy. Yeah.
What he said. The first series of figures is available at store.pandamony.toys or at Amazon.com, searching for either Alternation or Pandamony Toys. Also at Walmart.com and at Target.com, and again at your smaller comic book stores. If you don't have them there, you can ask
Big
the
Bad
people.
Toy Store too. If you're one of the, I'm sure a lot of your friends are collectors, and they may want to just load up their cart at Big Bad Toy Store. We're on there too, and various other online stores.
Oh, good. I'm glad you guys are on Big Bad Toy Store. I love them.
They were one of our early supporters. That was really cool, by the way. I never mentioned that, but Big Bad Toy Store, if you're watching this, thank you for bringing us on early.
Big Bad Toy Store, if you're watching, call me. So yeah, you can go to any of those places and get them, and I sincerely suggest that you do if you don't have them already. They're really fantastic. I can't say enough about them, and I really hope that everybody discovers what I have known for quite a while now. Ryan, thank you so much for doing this, and all the best to you. And God, I hope it's not too long before I see you in person.
Yeah. Totally fair. February.
Yeah, February isn't that far away. Right. Thanks,
All right, take care, Rob.
Yep, you too.